Speaking about Black and Puerto Rican relations, who else you done with in 2024?
And therapists, or supposed therapists.
Come on, don't do him like that.
I'm done with Umar Johnson.
Why?
I am the whole basically just going on and this bashing Black men for dating outside of their race. And here's the thing, I'm gonna do a breakdown of this on the internet. Once I read The Dating Divide, right? So it was a book written by 3 professors. Jennifer Lundquist is one. That's the only name I remember because I read a paper of hers like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. But once you read it, one of the things that you realize, and this is off of millions of data points, is that Black men respond to Black women the most when it comes to dating apps, right? Black men respond to Black women the most, right? Black women respond to Black men the least on dating apps, right? Second, I could have understood because women are loyal to resources, right? So, if they responded to just white guys and then we were next, we was actually dead last. That's why I'm done with Umar, because for him to go on there, right, and to just go in on the old boy because he doesn't have a Black wife.
Shout out to Ish.
Considering that Umar has been rumored to have 2 different kids by 2 different women.
They are Black though.
Like he's creating broken homes. This man is married to a woman,
but he's dating her, but he's about to get married.
Yeah, he's about to get married. You're right.
Shout out to Ish.
But you have this audacity to be like, yo, he's the worst guy, and you have 2 kids and 2 different homes. Because I'm done. I'm done with Umar in 2024. I don't want to see anything Umar related.
Was he wrong though?
Yeah, he was wrong because he said it like, yo, this is what Black men do, and it's not what we do.
Well, what he was saying, for those who not know, because you've been under a rock, Dr. Umar went on the Joe Budden podcast. It's a Patreon only episode, which, Joe, I get it. I did the math on Joe Budden and how much money I believe he makes versus how much money he could make. And I understand why he put shit on Patreon. Yeah, I get it. If y'all want to know, I will make that a short clip video for another day. But anyway, he went on there, and if you follow Dr. Umar, then you understand that he has been very consistent on Black men should marry Black women. He also has been consistent on Black men who choose to date white women or marry white women do so, and it's not.
What did he say? Low self-esteem, low racial
self-esteem. And I'm gonna do this. He's also been consistent on if you date or marry a Hispanic woman, you need to figure out what type of Hispanic she is. I'm being honest with you, right? Something I did not consider or think about when I married my Puerto Rican wife, because I just thought the 30 split evenly, right? You will learn if you date somebody like that, you might want to see how they 30 split. For instance, my wife's dad's African is greater than 30%. It's more African than actually the Indian part of his family, right? Versus her mom, I think it's less than 30. But it's just but whatever. So, but Dr. Umar's been consistent on that. He's also been consistent on his take about feminism in the LGBTQ plus community. Now that we got that out the way, he goes on Joe Budden. He's talking to Ish, and the first thing he does is he asks Ish if he's a bunny hopper, which I thought was hilarious. Because if you listen to Ish, few weeks before this, they asked Ish, was he biracial? Ish was emphatic, no, I don't know, but no.
Yeah.
And then they started having these conversations, and everybody in the world know that Ish dates a white girl. Now, I also laugh because Joe Budden has kid with Spanish women.
Yeah.
Melissa Ford, I want to say she's biracial.
Girl, I do think I think
she's biracial.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, and she's from Canada, but take with that as y'all will. But anyway, so for him to go in there, for me, I laughed because I saw Dr. Umar get the internet in a blaze, and I just didn't know why, because he's been like this for the last 8 years.
Her father's from Barbados. Her mom is of Norwegian and Russian descent.
Yeah, her mom's white. And so I look at this and I ask myself, you know what made me mad? A couple weeks ago, we did a video talking about Northwest, and I called her a black girl, and everybody in our comments was trying to get at me.
Yeah, because we called her black.
And so I said, all right, whatever. that was a concern, and that was like not what I was saying. Not me saying, hey, protect this little child, protect this girl who has a black father. However, we don't know how she identifies. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the fact was that was important. The other thing that's super important is we have a great time telling biracial kids that they ain't black all the damn time, right? And then for Dr. Umar to get on here and say, hey, yo, how could you go home and lay with a white woman, know that her people are actively trying to destroy us? I thought that was interesting. Now, I guess that's all I got to just say for it right now. But for me, and also, every podcast I go on, especially the black women podcast that I go and sit down on, they always slick. They be sly and slick and throw in that I'm not married to a black woman. And to see some of those same black women get on the internet and be so upset with Dr. Umar,
well, not only they upset with Dr. Umar, right? They was upset with Mr. Jonathan Owens. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, right? And this is why I'm done with Umar in 2024. Is all the studies are showing us that black African American women are not really attracted to African American men online. Now I know I'll get ripped for this, but this is what the numbers show. And like I said, I'll go through the dating divide and I'll post all this stats and studies straight to Twitter for you guys to go and argue amongst yourselves.
Well, but the one thing they're gonna throw back is that black women married to black men is higher than black men married to black women. I think it's like, but it ain't nothing crazy. It's like something like 90 versus 85%.
Yeah, but that's easily explainable because more black men are married. Like 700,000 more black men are married than black women.
Okay. Hey, I'm just telling
yeah. They could go there, but like no, that's why like more black men are married than black women, right? So I mean that, and again that's a stat that's telling. You got to use some conjecture, but yeah, it's not really hard to figure out why that's the case.
How do you feel about y'all saying that Patrick Mahomes and Barack Obama ain't black?
I mean, I have my own issues with Barack Obama that are not race related, so.
I just don't get it. I looked at all this and I was like,
but see, this is the thing. For me, if you're biracial, it's how you identify, right? If you identify as biracial, yes, you're over there, right? But if you say I'm biracial and you look white and you identify as white, like I'm not gonna look at you and be like, oh, you black, right? Like, yo, go hang out over there, right? If you biracial and you identify as black and you hang out with blacks, yo, go over there. It's what you identify with if you can pull it off.
Well, see, now you throwing too much stuff on it. And this is my issue.
Yeah.
Me and you had this conversation off mic, but the only thing I would say from that conversation is I believe Dr. Umar exposed like an ugly side of that, not that logic, but just that train of thought. Because when it comes time to Patrick Mahomes don't run away from, it's two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He don't run from it. Now, and he's with his dad. We don't know. We never ask. We never get the ask logic. How does he identify? Clearly, logic lets us know every sentence that he's biracial, but that's a whole nother subject. But I do believe it's those conversations. Like I had the conversation. I said, Carmelo Anthony always tells us he's black. We didn't find out that Carmelo was Puerto Rican and black until he was damn near about to retire.
Exactly. I mean, again, I think it's how you identify. I mean,
what about Rachel?
Rachel Dozer? I mean, she can pull it off. It's how she identifies. She's not biracial, but she actually can pull off light-skinned black. So I'm not mad at Rachel. Just don't make the community look bad. I mean, it's how you identify, man. All right, if you're transracial, it's what you identify as. Right? But can you pull it off? You got to be able to pull it off.
Ooh, this would be a great time to talk about that Delta employee.
Yeah, we ain't gonna.
That was a great video.
Hey, he handled that though.
He did. When you put your hands together like this and say, "I can call the police."
Yeah.
Now, only thing I didn't like about that video, if you do not know, there was a Delta Gate employee. Somebody, he misgendered someone. He apologized. The person kept pressing an issue, and he said, he was like, it's Christmas. I have you escorted out here, and you will miss your flight. That person was quiet. Now, black people, we got to make sure we stay consistent in our protection because we was there to protect that brother for 2 days. Then we was on to something else. They came and tore his ass up like 4 or 5 days later.
Did he still have his job?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. That Spirit employee don't have a job. You seen what they did?
Dude, Spirit.
They put a 6-year-old on the wrong flight.
Oh, yeah.
That person lost their job.
Yeah, you can't have your job after that.